All right, here's step one of cleaning the rat cage. First, you need the rats, and you need a cage. You need a room. So make sure the door is closed, and the closet's closed, and the other door is closed, because you don't want the rats to get out. Then you need bedding. We've got there, that's paper bedding, and there is aspen bedding. And then you need a trash can. All right, to let the rats out, we're going to first undo this snap, and then undo the exact same one on this side. And then we'll open the door. They can come out on their own if they want. Sometimes they all do, sometimes they don't. Come on, Mateo. And you see they get to start their run around. Then I'll take the cage and lift it up and place it on the ground. Then I'm going to take everything out of there. There's still some food. Very little. Nope, I guess not really. And then there's this dish. Ugh, that'll need to be cleaned. There's their hut, which they have pooped on, which is not the greatest, huh? Put that on the floor. We'll get rid of that in a second. And then we take these cloths, which are covered in the aspen bedding, and we're going to shake them out, get the bedding off. There's one down. There's another. Shake off the bedding. One more. Okay. Now, if they're wet, then we're going to put them in this box down here where all the soiled ones go. Oh, here's a stick. They might want to chew on that. Just put that in the food dish. And then we're going to take this, make sure we got everything. Didn't leave any cloths in there. And then shake it loose and dump it in the can. There's still a little bit there to be cleaned out, and some dust. All right, I have wiped down the inside of the box using some of the dirty rags. And then I will take the paper bedding first. Take a big handful and another big handful. There, 2 big handfuls of the paper bedding. It comes clumped, so you need to break it apart. It comes very compressed. What are you doing? I think the paper bedding is more absorbent than the aspen bedding, so that's good for the pee. Might even be a little more comfortable, but it is quite, I think it's a little more expensive, so that's why we mix it with the aspen. So I'm just taking apart all the clumps, so it's just little shredded up paper. All right, then I'm going to take the straw, the aspen, and put about the same amount as the paper. 2 big handfuls. Of course, you won't be able to get handfuls, big handfuls, but want something about the same amount. And then we're going to just spread it all evenly so that it is kind of thick all over the place. Now I'm going to make a little hole in the bedding and put the yellow food dish, and then we use this adult rat food because they're adults. We don't want anything too much protein, anything that'll make them grow. And I'm going to just fill this dish all the way up to the top. We're not heaping because they'll mess with it and knock it over. And I'll seal up the bag, squeeze out the air so it'll last longer, and then put it where they can't reach it. Okay, so here's what it looks like. I have it over in the front left side, the corner, or near the corner. And then I'll go wash out that bowl, and I'm going to take off this water bottle and go rinse it out. All right, here we are in the bathroom. I have the ceramic food dish, which we often put treats, vegetables. It also sits under the water bottle to catch drips. So I rinsed that out. Now I take the water bottle, undo the top. I'm going to run this under the water, get it clean, shake the water through there. To make sure that, if there's any debris that got in through the bottom where they're licking, that it gets out. Then I'm going to dump out the water. Now be careful, there's a little green floater turtle in there. We don't want to lose that down the drain. And I'll put in some hot water, just a little bit, shake it up, clean around the rim, dump that out, put the turtle back in, fill it with cold water, all the way to the top. I believe that it will leak less if you fill it to the top as opposed to like halfway. Then I make sure that I don't strip the threads. Make sure it goes on easily till it's tightened, and then just go a little more. There, so that's done, and this is done. Now you do have to be careful, because if you open a door, they will run for it. Hey, you guys get back in here. Hello? So I have cleaned the ceramic bowl, and I put it here on the right-hand side, not quite halfway, because the water bottle will sit directly over it. So now I have the water bottle and the hook. I will place it not quite halfway and make sure that it's upright. It will drip. So you can see that. That will sit over the water bottle when it's done. And apparently somebody is thirsty. Now I usually have 2 pieces of cardboard, one on the very top on the left and one on the I guess the lower shelf, the middle on the right. And I had plain cardboard before, but I don't see any, so we are going to use these. These are voting junk mail. So I folded it up. All right, Lolo, you're in my light. Okay, I'm going to take this old one off. Oop. And put the new one in. It's torn a particular way so they don't drop it, because otherwise they will drop it on the floor. And then this way they won't be sitting directly on the bars. And I have another one. This is Zach Sokoloff. So we'll put him on the second shelf. And they do pee on these. Watch out, Lolo. Don't pee on me, Lolo. Lorenzo likes to pee. All right. And then I have the towels from before. These are still dry, not like totally covered with poop. So I will put, very good, I'll put one here in the back, sort of this side, because that's where the hut will go, the cereal box hut. And then I have another one which I'll just put up here on the top shelf so they don't have to see the advertisements. They soiled their old hut, so this one is fairly clean. So we'll put it here. I put it here, not quite halfway, and more on here, so because they like to flip it up, and it'll be under the shelf, which makes it harder to do. Now you can see there's all sorts of debris on the floor, so now I gotta sweep it up. All right, now I'm all done with cleaning, but I like to give them 45 minutes out of the cage to get their exercise. This here is Maddie. Lolo, he tends to stay in the cage. I don't know why. Even when he has choice, he'll come out for just a few minutes and then he will go back in. There, I found Ricky. He decided he's gonna use that paper bedding and shred it himself. Oh, well, hello. You need to leave that paper bedding in the bag, Ricky. All right. After about 45 minutes or half hour, you may see the rats doing this, waiting. They're waiting for me to bring the cage back. So I will lift it up, and Lolo's already in there, and place it over the base, and the rats will either get in or not. I don't want to catch their tail or crush them, so move out of the way or get in. All right, I think everybody's in. And then I'll make sure that the base sits entirely, or that the metal part sits entirely in the base, and then I'll make sure they're in. If they're not around hovering, I'll say it's snack time, and then they'll usually come a running. But then I have to give them the snack. Okay, we have some little dog biscuits, the vegetarian kind, and so I'll give them each one. All right, Lolo, he likes his. Ricky likes his, but for some reason, Maddie tends not to like his. Then I have an extra one. And then they all sit someplace separate to nibble on their snack. Make sure you buttoned the top to the base, because if you didn't and you try to lift up the cage, it will fall. All done.